tonight, calls for teenagers to be warned about the dangers of drinking alcohol abroad. Bethany Clark's best friend Simone White died from methanol poisoning after drinking shots on holiday. Bethany now wants the law changed to have the dangers of methanol taught in schools.
History has this thing of repeating itself, so I guess the idea of all of this is to try and make sure it's in the curriculum so that no one has to go through this again in the future.
Also on the programme, the multi-million-pound bus service, which had 14 buses in an hour and a half, but only one passenger.
For a service that's, quite complex and costs quite a lot of money, it's really disappointing.
They've finally done it. Eagles fans are still celebrating Crystal Palace's historic FA Cup win. Plus,
the Happy Place Festivals are back for 2025.
Fern Cotton's live in the studio to talk well-being and joy. And
there's a wonderful smell in Chelsea today, which unfortunately I can't take credit for. It might, however, have something to do with the 2,000 beautiful lilies on display. I'll give you a tour very soon.
good evening. The best friend of a woman who died from methanol poisoning on holiday has called on the government to do more to educate teenagers in schools about the dangers of drinking alcohol abroad. Bethany Clark, who's from Orpington, was travelling in Laos in Southeast Asia with her childhood friend when they drank free shots they'd been offered at a bar in a hostel. They both became ill, and a few days later, Bethany's friend Simone White died, along with 5 other tourists. Bethany is now trying to change the law to make the dangers of methanol part of the school curriculum. Carolyn Sim reports.
Yes, keep smile.
They had been best friends for 24 years and enjoyed many adventures together. But Bethany Clark and Simone White's trip to Laos last November would be their last. It was at the hostel they were staying in that free shots were offered one night at the bar. The girls had about 6, not knowing the spirits were contaminated with methanol, a deadly substance found in bootleg alcohol. Both of them were treated in hospital. Bethany recovered, but Simone died, along with 5 other tourists.
Every day I think about her and about all the holidays we had planned and all of the events that we wanted to go to. And, she was the person that I spoke to on a daily basis, multiple times a day, especially being over here in Australia. I'm obviously away from a lot of my friends and all of my family.
Now, Bethany's calling on the government to do more to educate teenagers in schools about the dangers of drinking alcohol abroad.
Those videos you used to get in school of watching the car crashes and things like that I remember them being quite scary at the time, and they come back to you many years later, images in your mind, and you think, wow, that was horrible to watch. So it just sticks in your head, and I think that's what we need.
The government's now added methanol poisoning to the list of risks in some countries in its travel-aware advice. In Laos, it says Tiger vodka and Tiger whiskey, the spirits the hostels believed to have served that night, are now banned.
I think the main issue here, the people are most at risk tend to be younger travellers who'll be travelling independently rather than going on package holidays. So I'd say if you're watching and you've got your kids heading off to Southeast Asia and other places as well, tell them to check the Foreign Office advice.
Since Simone's death, the charity Médecins Sans Frontières has reported that more than 200 people worldwide have died of methanol poisoning.
History has this thing of repeating itself, so I guess the idea of all of this is to try and make sure it's in the curriculum so that no one has to go through this again in the future.
The hostel the girls were staying in has been shut down, and charges could soon be made against 13 individuals suspected of being involved in the 6 deaths. Bethany has now launched an online petition and says she'll continue to push for more education in Simone's memory. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
EU leaders descended on London today for the first UK-Europe summit to try and reset relations post-Brexit. The Prime Minister rubber-stamped a deal with the EU ahead of the meeting, but events are dividing the public. One of the questions being asked, does anything in the deal actually help people here in the capital? Well, our political correspondent Simon Harris has been speaking to the Chancellor at Downing Street and he joins us from there now. Simon, what did Rachel Reeves have to say?
Ronke, the Chancellor claims this is a deal which will lead to lower food and energy prices and boost the economy by £9 billion. Earlier, the Prime Minister and the EU President Ursula von der Leyen went aboard HMS Sutherland close to Tower Bridge for a celebratory lunch on board Britain's fastest frigate. Among the benefits we've been promised are that British air passengers won't have to use e-gates at some European airports and pet passports are coming back. There was also talk of a youth mobility scheme which would allow young Britons to travel to Europe and young Europeans to work here. That would be especially welcomed by London's hospitality sector. But in the end, that part of the deal wasn't finalised, although it's still an aspiration. So I asked the Chancellor if she was disappointed.
But we're going to work with our partners on a youth experience scheme to make it easier for young people in Britain to be able to go and work in European Union countries and for people from the European Union, young people, to come here. Now, that will be time limited. There will be caps on numbers. There will be no right to bring dependents or have access to benefits. But I think it is a great way for young people to be able to experience different cultures by being able to work for a short period of time or study overseas.
But that part of the agreement is still to be signed. Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister and of course former London Mayor who negotiated the original Brexit deal, described the new agreement as very bad and a betrayal. And Reform UK politicians were equally scathing.
It's just another step in the wrong direction, and it's just relentless. March, the wrong way. And the thing that's even scratching my head as an MP is, why don't these people listen to the people? We're democratically elected, but instead of acting out their will, they're handing more power to Brussels.
Well, clearly it's good news. It hasn't gone far enough. We would like the government to have been much more braver and more ambitious in the deal, but it's a good stepping stone forward to a much closer relationship with the EU that is going to help our economy.
Someone who was far more enthusiastic about the deal, not surprisingly, was London's Mayor, Sir Sadiq Khan, who of course was an ardent Remainer. City Hall claimed that the deal would especially benefit London's food manufacturing sector, which is said to be worth more than £3 billion and is the biggest food manufacturing sector in the UK.
Simon Harris at Downing Street, thank you. The ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the UK has been summoned to the Foreign Office following on from terror-related charges in the capital. 3 Iranian nationals were charged with engaging in conduct likely to assist a foreign intelligence service after a Met police counter-terror investigation. A Foreign Office spokesman said the Iran must be held accountable for its actions. A third man has been arrested in connection with a car fire and 2 property fires, all linked to the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. One man has already been charged with 3 counts of arson with intent to endanger life, while another man remains in custody after being arrested on Saturday. And the organiser of festivals, including Cross the Tracks and the Mighty Hoopla, says all festivals will go ahead in Brockwell Park, despite a High Court ruling against them. A campaign group successfully argued the council exceeded the number of permitted development days it's allowed for events before planning permission is required. Brockwell Live says it takes stewardship of the park seriously. 6 weeks ago today, the Silvertown tunnel opened to the public with the promise of cutting down traffic and pollution in East London. Part of that promise was a £2 million dedicated shuttle bus to transport cyclists from one end to the other, to encourage more people to ditch their cars and get on bikes. But is it actually being used? Well, Rags Martel spent the morning in the tunnel to find out.
Silvertown Cycle Shuttle. Welcome aboard London's empty bus service.
North Greenwich.
It's meant to carry cyclists under the new Silvertown tunnel.
Did you have any passengers in this one? No.
But despite costing £2 million a year, no one seems to be using it.
It's a bit of a faff, it's a bit long, so I reckon they'll probably scrap it after a year. It's just not efficient enough, it's not worth it.
Do you think it's a shame no one's using it?
I think it is a bit of a shame. I think but people don't know about it, I think once people know about it, and it's like school holidays, bank holidays, the weather's better, hopefully it will get used more.
What was it like being on the bus on your own?
It's all right, quite like it. It's like getting a cab, but free.
The Silvertown tunnel opened last month at a cost of £2.2 billion, but cyclists were not part of the construction design. So Transport for London bolted on this free shuttle service for bikes. This morning, ITV surveyed the amount of passengers using it. From just before 11 a.m, we counted the buses coming in and the passengers coming out.
So we've been monitoring the passenger numbers for more than an hour now. This is the 14th bus service. 13 of them have been completely empty, and so far we've counted just one passenger.
This was the sole rider on the service for more than 80 minutes.
It's really useful because it helps me get really close to my school.
How often is it busy? Are you often the only one on the bus?
Yeah, quite often I'm the only one.
Silvertown Tunnel should never really have been built. If it was going to be built, it should have been built for public transport, cycling routes and walking routes. London does not need another car tunnel.
Remarkably, this isn't London's first cycle tunnel service. When the Dartford Tunnel opened in 1963, 5 double-decker buses were made. These had room for 23 bikes, but the service was abandoned after a couple of years as no one used it.
Is this going the same way?
I'm afraid so, and you can't keep running a service that's used, a handful of people are using each day. I can't see the demand increasing, that's the problem.
In a statement, TfL told us thousands of cyclists have used the service already, adding, given its innovative nature, we expect numbers to grow throughout the coming months as weather improves and cyclists plan and adapt their routes. For now, it remains a bus for bikes, but just waiting for cyclists to show up. Rags Martel, ITV News at the Silvertown Tunnel.
Now, don't worry, be happy, because coming up on the programme, we've got Fern Cotton, who'll be telling us about this year's Happy Place Festival. And
horsing around, Chelsea is back in bloom, and I will be giving you a tour of the hundreds and thousands of flowers you can see for free.
But first, it'll be a while before the dust settles in South London after Crystal Palace's historic FA Cup win on Saturday. It's the club's first ever major trophy, and for the fans, it's so much more than just a maiden win. Palace pride themselves on being a club in and for their community, and now both players and supporters have all their energy focused on what would be an unforgettable victory parade. Kafa Patter reports.
The Eagles have landed. Winners of this year's FA Cup.
But it's their day.
On Saturday, the red and blue colours spread far and wide.
I can't see nothing, but I don't care because we're champions, baby!
From the pitch
Come on, Palace!
to the pubs
Fantastic!
and the locker rooms.
Absolutely brilliant day.
Hailed player of the match was goalkeeper Dean Henderson. The Palace's last line of defence, never wavering and not once faltering.
Yeah, it honestly, it's incredible, especially towards the end of the game when you see the lads getting tired in front of you and the concentration could slip away and all you could hear was them cheering us over the line, especially when the 10 minutes went up at the end and you feel like you're so close and you see 10 minutes, you're like, oh no, and then the fans just literally sung us back home.
For many, this was a historic and emotional win, both for fans who were here to see it, and for those like Dominic and Nathan, whose father was not. They used to attend games with their father, and this image of a family embrace in 2011 was replicated at Saturday's game.
He used to always say to my mum that I'll never see Palace lift a trophy, but my boys will.
Yeah.
And then, little to his knowledge, he's the biggest face in the stadium.
Forward, his cross is key. Eza is there!
This was more than just a sporting victory. For the charities Crystal Palace supports, this win shines a light on all the philanthropic work they're doing. And with the celebration set to continue at a parade next week, London will know that this palace stands tall. Kaf Opato, ITV News.
Now, from join the pitch to join the part, my guest tonight specialises in happiness. So much so, she's created a festival dedicated to the feeling. Veteran broadcaster Fern Cotton started the Happy Place Festival in 2019, bringing people together for a weekend of discussions, activities and wellness. This year it's back and it's moving to Gunnersbury Park. The festival blossomed from the success of her Happy Place podcast. So let's take a look.
That was just this this sort of voice in my head, this like figure that, you know, I labelled as this kind of like negative character in my life.
I've just got to be the person that they only know that they've ever seen on a special or on television. So I do think a lot of comics definitely battle depression.
How brilliant that you're at a place where you feel, would you say at peace?
100%.
How amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, Fern, I mean, happiness is something we're all looking for happiness,
Yes.
aren't we? And I just wondered where the idea for the podcast came from. Was it
Well,
from an event in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I had a period of bad mental health, which sort of, I guess, spurred on this whole new leg of my career. But I wrote a book initially called Happy, which is about depression.
Right.
And then the podcast came from that. And then we've branched out into festivals and other projects. So, yeah, just trying to create a nice, safe space for people to talk about how they're feeling, listen to others, tell their stories, and hopefully leave feeling a bit better.
You're very open about your life and your journey and things going on and your health as well. I know you spoke quite openly about the tumours.
Yes.
They were benign.
Yes.
In your jaw.
Thank goodness, yes.
Is it important for you to be open? Do you think that's
I mean, I guess with boundaries in place, I would never, there's some stuff that I would not want to talk about or things that I'm still working through in therapy or, you know, working through generally. But I think it is good to, you know, sort of lead by example. I can't expect my guests on the podcast, for instance, to talk about things as sensitive as OCD or depression if I'm not sharing as well. So, yeah, I think it is quite important.
And cathartic as well.
Yes.
And hard work. And the festival, 2 days, and you're involved in the planning.
Oh, yeah, it's all year round. It's an absolute monster, but worth every second of hard work. It's such a beautiful event in our diary, in our calendar. Everyone gets together. You can take part in yoga, meditating, listen to talks, live podcast recordings. It's a kids area, great food, bit of shopping, something hopefully for everyone there.
But people mustn't underestimate how much work goes into organising an event like that.
I mean, a lot. a hell of a lot. But as I said, it's so worth it. And the whole team look forward to it every year. It's a chance for all of our Happy Place followers, our little community, to get together and try something new. And we create a really nice, safe atmosphere. So hopefully everyone who comes along has a really good time.
But there's one thing you can't control, Fern, and that's the weather.
Oh, don't. I can't. That is the most stressful part of all of it. We had a yellow weather warning 2 years ago with, I think it was like 70-mile-per-hour winds or something absurd. We cracked on, we did it, it was fine, but that is the one thing that we just have to let go of and hope for the best. And, you know, we're Brits. We can deal with a bit of rain if there's rain, but hopefully nothing more than that.
And guests you've had in the past, you've had lots of people in the past. I know you don't. Tell me who you've had in the past and who you're planning to have this year.
On the podcast, we've had everyone from Will Poulter there to Hillary Clinton, you know, a whole range of experts, all sorts of people. But at the festival, we've got Davina McCall's going to be there this year. We've got Vogue Williams is going to be there. Gemma Atkinson, Millie McIntosh. Trying to think of other names off the top of my head, but lots of live talks and podcasts that will be happening on site. So people, again, sharing stories, also lots of experts who are specialising in certain subjects that will be leading the way in some really good talks as well.
So it's not all talking though, you've got other things going on.
The activities, you've got, you know, sort of fitness, yoga, meditation, sound baths. If you've never tried that before, it's gorgeous.
Sound bath?
Well, you have these amazing sort of meditative sound sessions with sound bowls, and all you need to do is lie down and enjoy it basically and get into a nice meditative state and feel super relaxed. And if you've never tried any of this before, it does not matter. It's entry-level stuff with the yoga, the meditation, there's kids yoga, singing workshops, arts and crafts if yoga and meditation is not your thing, but hopefully all activities that leave you feeling calm and balanced and hopefully that bit happier.
It sounds wonderful. It sounds wonderful. So remind us of the days. It's on...
So it's the 12th and 13th of July is our London Festival, and then we head to Cheshire at the end of August. We do 2 every summer.
So you do it all again in
We
Cheshire?
do it all again. I sort of forget about it, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to do the whole thing again. But it's brilliant fun. I do love it.
It sounds like it's worth coming along.
Yeah, come
to.
along.
I might do that. I could do with some happiness.
Yeah, I think you should. Like, doing the news is hardcore. You need to come along and just like chill out and do
Exactly.
a sound bath.
News is really heavy, but someone who's always happy. This lady here,
we
she's
met
always
in
happy.
the corridor. Sally's got to come. Sally's coming to the festival.
Well, I mean, OK, don't ask me twice.
Yeah.
I'll be there. No
Only if you
problem.
can promise good weather for me.
Okay.
Then I'll give you free tickets.
I'm just going to get my coat. But you know what? Actually, at the moment, it's looking potentially settled for June. I mean, that is so tentative.
But what about July?
I was going to say
Oh, you're
festival's
July. Oh, I
in
thought you said
July.
it's July. Oh, it's in July. Oh, well, oh, sorry,
Can
Fen,
you
you're on
be
your
that
own.
bit further ahead?
You're on your own for that, love. But I'm going to keep everything crossed. And I'm going to
Please,
look
me
into my
too.
crystal ball.
Okay,
Is that okay?
good, yes.
But yes, we are continuing the happy theme because today I had a lovely day at the office because I was out of it and I was in the sunshine. The sun came out and it literally shone on us the whole time we were in Chelsea because it's the Chelsea Flower Show this week. So we had Chelsea in Bloom, which is the free bit where you can go to Chelsea. 130 participants are taking part and there are the most marvellous displays. Honestly, both of you must get yourselves there.
Yeah,
but
I want to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But in case you don't, here's a little taste for you. Let's take a look. If you love looking at flowers, you can fill your boots with them here. From pink to punk, Chelsea in Bloom is celebrating its 20th year. How many photos have you taken?
142.
Yeah, yeah.
Good luck going through those.
Everyone seems really happy and everyone's talking to each other, which is, I know,
rare.
exactly.
In London.
Exactly, yeah.
It's free to see, so everyone's invited, even if their etiquette is a little rusty. So this is Dickie, is it?
It is indeed.
What does Dickie make of Chelsea in Bloom?
Well, he keeps trying to help water them. But I've refrained, or at least I've tried to get him refraining from that so far.
Brilliant. Well, well done, Dickie. Oh, and you like all the smells, do you?
Absolutely.
Oh. This enormous handbag created by Ruth Davis is a sensory delight. Ruth, the first thing to note is the smell. It's unbelievable. The lilies.
It is. It is just incredible. We have over 2,000 of them.
Ooh,
and they are
that would
giving
do it.
off, yeah.
I also had my eye on the bag itself. I can say, Ruth, no handbag is big enough for me, but that one,
I know.
Finally I found my
It's
handbag.
big enough. You can
Put my
get
stuff
everything in. Like, you could probably live in it.
Another eye catcher, the Punk's Head, a homage to the history of the King's Road.
Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren opened their first shop on the King's Road that was, of course, punk themed. So, yeah, we wanted to get those images on there to really sort of highlight the area.
The theme, Flowers in Fashion, has attracted 130 displays. Your footfall was 1.4 million last year, did you say? What's that compared to a normal week?
500,000 more. It's phenomenal. One Business ad hoc commentary was 25% uplift in sales. It really is a second Christmas.
While the King and Queen dropped into the Chelsea Flower Show nearby, Trini and I relaxed at her shop after another tough day in the office. So would you recommend people come here?
Yeah.
Kick back, go for a little swing.
Have a little swing. You know, we usually have a queue all day long to take pictures here, have a wander down, you know, have a lovely partner who can carry your bags if you're going to just do a bit of a shop up.
So get yourself down here for a stroll, a sniff, and of course, a selfie.
Oh, that looks wonderful, but I keep hearing about rain, Sally. Not good news.
Well, it depends on your perspective. If you're a farmer or a gardener, rain is becoming essential. We have had 5% of our normal rainfall so far this May, so it's been really dry. We may get some showers on Wednesday, and then we're going to get a bit of a change as we go through the weekend, becoming a bit more unsettled. So definitely keep an eye on the forecast. But for now, for tomorrow, looking very nice indeed. Here we go.
Come rain or shine, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. I'm not sure we know serene mornings like this, but it's lovely to see them anyway. Now, we have got some quite nice warm sunshine tomorrow and throughout a lot of the working week staying dry, except for Wednesday when we could have a few much needed showers. However, not everywhere and they're not guaranteed. So let's take a look at the detail. Lovely end to the day, lots of clear skies. The temperatures will fall away, a little bit chilly by the end of the night, more of us dipping into single figures. So it's going to be a bit fresh first thing tomorrow, potentially a bit of low cloud to start things off, but for many of us, a really nice start and a decent day. Plenty of blue sky, perhaps a little cloud here or there, but shouldn't spoil things too much. And those temperatures rising up to 23 degrees. So as I said, warm in the sun, out towards the coast where we've still got that onshore breeze, feeling a little bit fresher there. So as we head into Wednesday, more cloud around and you can see the potential for some bits and pieces of rain. But like I said, there's still a lot to play for, so worth keeping an eye on the forecast. Some areas might stay completely dry, cloudier and a bit cooler for Thursday. And then as we head into the weekend, potential for things to turn more unsettled, but we will keep you posted on that. That's the weather. Here's the pollen.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
As for the pollen, well, given that we've still had quite settled weather, we're lucky that they are still low, those levels. We are going to start to see more of that grass pollen get going soon. That's it for now. See you later on. Cheerio.
Finally this evening, if you were out on a stroll in the capital today, there's a chance you cross paths with a music legend. Lulu set off on a sponsored walk through the city, raising money for her mental health charity. Her journey took her from Whitechapel School, where she filmed To Sir with Love, to the site of the old Decca studio in West Hampstead, where she recorded Shout. Ahead of the release of her memoir, she says creating a charity promoting positive well-being was an obvious opportunity to take.
My mother always used to say, it doesn't cost you anything to smile. Don't have that miserable face when you're walking to school. People walk towards you, they've got to look at that face. My manager said you get asked to do charities all the time. It's like hundreds a week, she said, and then you do a lot of them. Why don't you have your own? I went, duh, I don't do my own. So that's something close to my heart, and it's revealed in the book that, you know, there was a lot of issues, but I think there's issues in everyone's life.
Never a truer word said. Now, that's it from us. The evening news is next with Mary. But for now, from all of us, enjoy your evening. Goodbye.